I always tell everybody, I don't go in there looking for the knockout. I go looking for the win. But if he get out of line, he's going to be the next one down.
Terence Crawford, he has definitely gone under the radar. 4-weight world champion, 41-0, 31 knockouts. A southpaw who's got IQ and speed and craft. I think it's a fabulously interesting matchup.
The reason I have so much confidence is because I really believe that Bud Crawford doesn't fear Canelo Alvarez. A lot of his opponents.
Terence Crawford erupted at Canelo during a fiery press conference, making it clear that his focus remains on winning inside the ring. However, he firmly warned that if Canelo crosses a line or shows disrespect, things could turn personal. Crawford's intense words highlighted his determination and mental readiness, proving he is fully prepared physically and emotionally, leaving no doubt about his supreme confidence heading into the fight.
You a you a see you a I'm talking to let Aaron you a because you keep talking like you doing all that talking.
That's how
you doing all that talking.
Oh, you can't be gotta come back. I come back.
He don't talk, and you talking too much.
Hey, this
you want some attention.
Right, it's gonna be legendary.
Oh, female ass.
See y'all showing me this is legendary, old school fight.
Get out. Some attention. Put the camera on him, because that's what he's doing. Showing out like a female. Let him finish, bud. Go ahead, EJ.
Yeah, all right.
Greg Hackett has been outspoken about Terence Crawford's ability to defeat Canelo Alvarez, pointing to Crawford's fearless approach both inside and outside the ring. Unlike many fighters who hesitate when facing a dominant figure like Canelo, Crawford enters every bout without intimidation. Hackett emphasizes that Crawford's confidence is not arrogance, but rather the result of years of discipline, adaptability, and consistent victories. He believes confidence is a fighter's greatest weapon, and Crawford carries it in abundance. Facing Canelo, widely regarded as one of boxing's pound-for-pound best, demands supreme mental toughness, something Hackett insists Crawford has mastered. For him, this showdown is not an uphill climb for Crawford, but a stage to showcase his ability to thrive under immense pressure, proving once again why he is one of the most dangerous and mentally resilient.
They taking Crawford. Got people that was taking Crawford. They taking Canelo.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
It should be that way because we're talking about a great fight here. We're talking about two great athletes. So when it's like this, it's better for the betting. I mean, all the people that like to bet, it's better for them. You know what I mean? Because nobody knows where the money will land. The reason I have so much confidence in this fight, you know, thinking that it's going to be a great fight, the reason I have so much confidence is I really believe that Bud Crawford doesn't fear Canelo Alvarez. A lot of his opponents in the past were nervous, scared from the beginning. I don't think Bud feel that way at all. I think we can get a good rumble on our hands. You know what I mean? It's just going to come down to the big question for Bud is, can he take the shot? You know what I'm saying? The question, I think, for Canelo is, does he get old? I say that for a reason. He got a lot of fights, bro. He got, I think he going on almost 70 fights. You know what I'm saying? Or he a little bit under 70. That's a lot of fights for current time. You know what I'm saying? And Bud got a lot of gas still left, but he's older as well. You know what I mean? A lot of people like to give him shit for not being able to take a shot, or not that he didn't take the shot, but getting buzzed with some shots at lower weight classes. So it's like, how can he handle himself at 168 pounds? But you have to understand the physical to understand how. You know what I mean? I'm not about to get into all of that, but you know what I mean? I do understand he will be a lot more sturdy at 68. I mean, if you're smart, you've seen it at 47 versus Earl Spence.
Adam Smith, one of the most respected voices in boxing commentary, views a potential clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez as a monumental leap for Crawford, yet one that is far from impossible. Smith highlights Crawford's exceptional boxing IQ, noting his ability to read opponents, adapt quickly, and capitalize on weaknesses with calculated precision. His speed, Smith argues, could prove to be a vital weapon, especially against Canelo's defensive style, which at times leaves exploitable openings. In Smith's eyes, this fight would likely come down to the scorecards, with Crawford's intelligence, movement, and ring generalship giving him the edge over 12 rounds. He praises the matchup as a contest that could stand among the most thrilling of recent years, with both fighters pushing themselves to physical and mental extremes. For Smith, Crawford winning on points is not a fantasy, but a testament to how skill, strategy, and intelligence can overcome power and size.
September the 13th, it's billed as Fight of the Century. I do feel as though this one, for such an unbelievably good fight, the prospect of, it has gone under the radar a bit. We've spoken more about fights that are not even.
Remember you back then? I mean, how much you spoke about?
No, I love that fight.
Yeah, but compared to these two guys,
Yeah,
but that's in Britain. That's prime time here. It's the football casuals. I think the problem with this fight is it is just a fabulous boxing matchup, and one with all sorts of curiosity between two superstars. The Ring magazine's dedicated the entire magazine, but this is boxing. It's hardcore boxing. I think Canelo is known. I think Canelo, obviously the Mexican machismo, that holds all the super middleweight titles, nearly 70-odd fights. He's been phenomenal. I think he's 35 now. But for Terence Crawford, he has definitely gone under the radar. 4-weight world champion, 41-0, 31 knockouts, a southpaw who's got IQ and speed and craft. I think it's a fabulously interesting matchup, the two of them, because you've got the big guy, the strong super middleweight, really cultured, wonderful fighter in Canelo, but is he just slightly, ever so slightly, fine margins past his peak? And you've got Crawford, who needs this fight as his coming out party. The big news, it's on Netflix, so he'll get the attention. Can Crawford do it? It's a huge step again in weights, but I think he's got the speed, and I think he's got the know-how, I'm sure we'll talk about it more next week, to cause problems for Canelo, and I think that he could win it on points.
Ade Oladipo takes a more critical stance on the potential Crawford versus Canelo showdown, suggesting that while the fight has captured massive attention, it lacks the genuine intrigue of other recent high-profile matchups like Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. Oladipo argues that the natural weight disparity tilts expectations too heavily in Canelo's favor, making the contest feel less competitive. Unlike Usyk versus Dubois, which feature contrasting styles and true unpredictability, he believes Crawford versus Canelo does not offer the same balance. To Oladipo, much of the excitement surrounding the bout feels driven more by promotion and hype than by the fight's actual dynamic.
Like, you know, it's been billed as the biggest fight of the century. Some are saying the biggest fight of all time. Let's calm down, people. Let's breathe a little bit. It's a big fight. It doesn't quite feel like those things. It doesn't feel like the biggest fight of the century. Like, this doesn't feel like, and maybe because I work these events, so it's slightly different, but this doesn't feel like Usyk Fury, for example. It doesn't feel like that at all. That felt like, oh my God, this is going to happen. Undisputed heavyweight title fight. Remember, this is an undisputed super middleweight title fight. It just feels a bit lacking of something. I can't believe that Max Kellerman is now part of this. And again, for nostalgia, we haven't got a Max Kellerman face-off. Now, how Canelo speaks great English now. How we haven't got that? Just to kind of give it a bit of spice, because Canelo, with his English, it's like he's only learnt the bad words. He does chat a lot of shit. So I almost felt like we should have done that. Maybe because it's on Netflix, it hasn't got a bit of a push from ESPN. Obviously, there's no DAZN stuff, obviously, because DAZN are not covering it. I feel like it's lacking something. And maybe because both of them don't trash talk either. Because when I think of the biggest fights of the last sort of 15, 20 years, we've always had one side of the fight, or one side who's a big trash talker. In some instances, two. The biggest fights, again, Usyk Fury. Fury was happy to do all the trash talking. Sold it. Event went massive. Mayweather, Pacquiao. Mayweather is happy to do all that, right? Mayweather, McGregor. Hence why that went just colossal. Because you got two of the biggest trash talkers ever doing it. This time, Canelo ain't saying anything. Crawford ain't saying anything. Feels a bit flat. Feels a little bit flat.
Promoters have worked tirelessly to transform Crawford versus Canelo into more than just a fight, branding it as a defining spectacle of the century. By tapping into the global boxing audience, they've generated excitement that stretches well beyond the sport's traditional fan base. Netflix's involvement has supercharged the hype, offering exclusive behind-the-scenes content, documentaries, interviews, and extensive coverage that makes the event feel monumental. This strategy has brought the fight into households that might not typically follow boxing, blurring the lines between sports and entertainment. The promotional campaign has built anticipation on a scale comparable to the greatest crossover events in history.
I'm holding you to the standard you said. They're tagging this the fight of the century, colossal, super fight, Netflix, Dana White, right? So now we got to look at it. You can't tell me something. See, I'm not the type of person where you could pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. If that's you and you're going to let somebody urinate on your leg and tell you it's raining, that's on you. But I don't do that. I'm a critical thinker, and I'm not just going to listen to what you tell me and see if the facts don't support that, right? So if this is the fight of the century, let's look at it. Boxing tickets, Canelo versus Crawford, right? Since August 29th, tickets listed, $2,566 value, $7 million plus worth of tickets. Hey, bro, $7 million worth of tickets.
Veteran analyst Al Bernstein offers a frank evaluation, arguing that despite the massive promotional push, Crawford versus Canelo is not the matchup boxing purists were truly waiting for. He notes that the demand for this fight did not arise naturally, as many fans were more eager to see Crawford tested against opponents in his own division or Canelo challenged by fighters closer to his weight. While Bernstein acknowledges the bout carries intrigue on paper, he feels it lacks the organic rivalry or compelling storyline that usually transforms a fight into a must-see spectacle. He further emphasizes that although marketing has succeeded in generating widespread buzz, genuine interest among hardcore boxing fans is noticeably lower compared to other major super fights. In his view, the event feels more like a promotional creation than the result of authentic fan demand.
To have these two level of fighters meet, where does this rank
I
at?
think it's one of those fights that the interesting thing is it wasn't as if every boxing fan said, boy, I can't wait to see Canelo fight Terence Crawford. In other words, it wasn't one of those fights. Like, there were more boxing fans that said, gee, I'd like to see Canelo fight David Benavidez. But, having said that, I mean, among the hardcore boxing fans.
For sure.
Having said that, what they did, and this happens sometimes in boxing, they come up with a matchup that wasn't on everybody's mind, but kind of makes sense. And the proof is in the pudding. If you do one of those kind of matches and the interest is not there, you're going to find that out.
For sure.
In this case, obviously the interest was there because they've sold. I mean, I went online and looked at the ticket sales and everything, and they've sold. It looks like they've already sold 40,000 seats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, believe
it's
they'll
not
sell
that
it
many
out.
left in Allegiant Stadium. So that alone is an indicator. The amount of attention and coverage the fight has gotten, and this is one of those fights that will also have a good barometer as we get closer to the fight. How much is the mainstream sports media covering the fight? You know, it used to be in the old days, big fights were covered all the time by the mainstream sports media. Not so much in recent years. And so that's always a barometer of whether it, really is as big as we think. As far as the actual matchup is concerned, when it was originally announced, I thought they were going to have a hard sell in convincing people that Crawford could come up 2 weight classes and take on a 168-pounder because he already moved.
A common perspective on Crawford versus Canelo is that, while it will undoubtedly draw massive attention, it was not a matchup fans were genuinely clamoring for. Many argue the natural size and weight advantage tilts heavily in Canelo's favor, making the outcome feel predictable. As a result, much of the excitement centers on whether Crawford can rise above those disadvantages and deliver a historic upset. Should he succeed, the fight will be remembered as a shocking and inspiring moment, rewriting the narrative of boxing underdogs. However, if Canelo wins in the dominant fashion most expect, critics may dismiss the bout as inevitable and anticlimactic. This outlook highlights the delicate balance between hope and expectation. Fans desperately want to witness an upset, but remain wary of being let down. Ultimately, the true intrigue lies in whether Crawford can defy the odds and prove that elite skill can conquer sheer size.
Available for this fight because of that undercard. This production promotion has been just, it's very interesting, man. Number one, there's no real reason for this fight to take place. Terence Crawford and Canelo. Nobody was asking for the fight. There's no natural connection between the two fighters. There's just two names that people think are on the top of a hypothetical list called the pound for pound list that many people act as if it's real. So they're two top pound for pound people, and they put them together and think this makes some big magic match. It may be a magic match once they get in the ring if Terence Crawford can overcome Canelo Alvarez. It's got a real potential for that. But what happens if the fight winds up just being what more than likely it'll be, which is Terence Crawford trying to get away from the bigger, stronger Canelo Alvarez? Because again, he's jumping so many weight classes. That's the gimmick. That jumping the weight class is the gimmick that is supposed to be attracting people to this fight. Gimmicks are not gonna pull it. And you can't tell me of the people. Now, there's going to be many people in the stadium. People go to the fight for sure. There are going to be people out there for that event. But you can't tell me that particular event with the fights that they have on that card is going to be some memorable night of boxing, other than maybe it taking place in the main event. You have people. Many of these fighters are not from the United States. As I look from them, I would have to go out and see in the United States how many fighters from the United States do they actually have.
Observers have been taken aback by Terence Crawford's remarkable physical transformation at 175 pounds, a weight well above his natural division. Recent reports and visuals reveal a noticeably shredded physique, with defined muscles, a thicker neck, and broader shoulders, projecting the image of a fighter fully prepared to meet Canelo's physicality head-on, rather than appearing undersized. Crawford now looks like a man who has deliberately molded his body to handle the demands of a higher weight class. His conditioning highlights the dedication invested in strength and performance training, aimed at boosting power without sacrificing speed or agility. For many fans, seeing a bulked-up yet still sharp Crawford sparks optimism that he can offset Canelo's size advantage while maintaining the technical mastery that has defined his career. This new, more imposing version of Crawford has fueled debate, leaving observers questioning whether size will truly dictate the outcome or...
Bud Crawford is absolutely ripped, absolutely shredded. What looks to be about 175. Now he fights next Saturday, a week out from the fight. It's a week out from the weigh-in, so I'm sure that you look at Terence Bud Crawford right there, and you see he is absolutely shredded right there. And this is a week before the weigh-in, right? So I'm pretty sure he's probably weighing about 174, something of that magnitude, maybe about 173. 175 is probably the max he is at one right now, because obviously the weight is at 168 and he's a week out. So he might be around 173, drop 5 pounds next Friday for the weigh-in, right? So Terence Crawford, as I showed you guys, is training and putting mass in his shoulders and in his legs. As you can see here, once again, right? He hasn't gained a lot of muscle mass except in his shoulders, okay? When you look at Terence Crawford in previous fights, previous weigh-ins, his arms look pretty much the same. His neck and his shoulders is where you can see a clear difference from fights in the past, right? When you look at his midsection, his core, right? You can see the waterway, right? So right now, it's going to look like his midsection, his core is going to look bigger than what it actually.
Canelo Alvarez's pedigree is impossible to ignore. Turning professional at just 15, he has spent decades competing against some of the greatest fighters in the sport. Far from a one-dimensional puncher, Canelo is known for his sharp jab, iron chin, and rare ability to adapt tactics seamlessly in the middle of the fight. His legacy is built on conquering multiple weight divisions while consistently thriving under immense pressure. For Terence Crawford, stepping in against such an accomplished opponent represents the ultimate test. With his unique mix of skill, toughness, and ring IQ, Canelo remains one of boxing's most dangerous and proven champions. capable of challenging any style set before him.
Is Crawford a guru in the ring? Absolutely. He is one of the best fighters ever created in humanity. But you cannot say that I'm going to come in with 5 pounds tape across my arms and legs and then go against Canelo Alvarez. He's not going against some dude who doesn't have counter punches, who doesn't have a ring IQ. Canelo's been fighting since 15 and is one of the few fighters who has taken literally less punishment than, say, Caleb Plant, who has like 25.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned in